محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. We continue today, inshallah, with our beautiful book, Salah by Imam Rajab, Humility and Prayer by Imam Rajab. And before we start with the content of the book, as there is some wind outside, one of the sunnahs to remind of is that the Prophet ﷺ, at the Sahih Bukhari Muslim, when there was wind, he used to say, Allahumma inni as'aluka khayraha. He used to say, oh Allah, I ask you the good of it. Wa khayra ma fiha, and the best of what is in it. Wa khayra ma usilat bih, and the best of what it has been sent with. Wa a'udhu bika min sharriha, and I seek refuge in you from the evil of it. Wa sharri ma fiha, and the evil of what it contains. Wa sharri ma usilat bih, and the evil of what it has been sent with. So a person tries to, throughout his life, to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is a good thing that our parents used to do with us when we were younger. And so when raising children as well, this is perhaps a good thing for a person to maintain, which is to teach them, oh, now we're going to the car, let's say this. When we're entering the masjid, we say this, and at every occasion to teach them the adhkar to be said at every occasion. So last time we started with one of the most beautiful sections of the book where Ibn Rajab talks about the actions conducive to khushu', like actions that display khushu' in salah. And the first action he talked about was putting the right hand over the left. Putting the right hand over the left hand, and he expressed that that's the way you're going to be standing in front of Allah. So think of that when you're in prayer. And the second action he's going to talk about today is facing towards Allah. And to summarize, two meanings go under this. Facing of the heart towards Allah and the eyes being lowered during a prayer. So these are the two meanings he's going to mention related to that. So the second, amongst the actions is the slaves facing forwards to Allah, mighty and most high, and his not turning away to any other. This is of two types. The first is his heart, not turning away from the one he is discoursing with, and it's being totally devoted to the Lord, mighty and magnificent. So he only focuses on what Allah Azza wa Jalla is pleased for him to focus on in the prayer, because he knows he's in a private conversation between him and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's the first meaning of facing towards Allah, which is for your heart to be devoted to Allah Azza wa Jalla in the prayer. Now he mentions a hadith that mentions this meaning. And this hadith is in Sahih Muslim, where Amr bin Abasa, may Allah be pleased with him, said that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, نذكرها بالعربية أولا إن شاء الله. قال صلى الله عليه وسلم في سياق ذكر أجر الوضوء. The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, in the context of talking about ablution, wudu, and its reward, he said, فإنه قام فصلى فحمد الله وأثنى عليه ومجده بالذي هو له أهل وفرغ قلبه لله إلا انصرف من خطيئته كهيئته يوم ولدته الله. If the Prophet, let's translate it. So if he then stands in praise, praising and eulogizing Allah, eulogizing meaning praising Allah, magnifying him as is befitting, and devoting his heart to Allah. This is the point of reference, devoting his heart to Allah. Even the Arabic says, وَفَرِّغَ, meaning he empties his heart from all this dunya. Only puts in his heart what pleases Allah. And devoting his heart to Allah, he will finish the prayer in a state like the day on which his mother gave birth to him. So the point of reference is you get this reward if you devote your heart to Allah. You empty your heart from everything related to this world. The second meaning that goes under facing towards Allah in the prayer is, Ibn Rajab says, the second is his not looking left or right. Instead, restricting his gaze to the place of prostration, to the place of sujood. And now in Rajab, he's going to emphasize how important this is. This is one of the necessary outcomes of the khushu' in the heart, and it's not turning away. See, sometimes we use the word necessary, important, loosely. But when Ibn Rajab, for people that understand the priorities of the religion, he tells you this is necessary. That you don't turn right or left in the salah, that you focus on your place of prostration, that this is necessary, and it follows from the khushu' of the heart. He's trying to tell you there is no khushu' of the heart if it doesn't show on the outside. This we call it talazum bain Allah wal batin. That necessarily, if there is something on the inside, it has to show on the outside. Sheikh Farid, he gives a nice example for this. He says, if you put a seed in the ground, if that seed has life in it, then if you water it, it will sprout. That's what's going to happen if there is life in the seed. But if there's no life in the seed, nothing will come out. Similarly, if this heart has Iman, then when the Iman is poured into the heart, it must show on the outside. If there is actually Iman. Otherwise, there is no Iman. And that's where he's going to mention now. This is why. When one of the Salaf saw a person fidgeting in prayer, he remarked, if the heart of the person had khushu', his limbs would also show khushu'. التلازم بين الله والباطن. لو كان قلبه خاشع لخشعت جوارحه. Yeah, so and this was said by Hudayfa in the Imam, may Allah be pleased with him. This has been mentioned previously by Ibn Rajab. And I'll end with this point, which is, look at how Ibn Rajab, rahimahullah, how this, one of the said Hudayfa here, he took an example from things in front of him, taking advantage of things around us to teach lessons to others. And this is a way that the Prophet taught. I'll give an example. In Sahih Bukhari, the Prophet ﷺ, it was brought to him a silk clothing. So the companions were impressed at it. So the Prophet, he wanted to take advantage of this to teach them a lesson. So he said at that moment, teaching them to compare between the dunya and the akhirah, he said, وَالَّذِي نَفْسِي بِيَدِهِ. He swears by whom his soul is in the hand of. لَمَنَادِيلُ سَعْدِ بْنُ مُعَاذٍ فِي الْجَنَّةِ خَيْرٌ مِنْ هَذَا. He said, the handkerchief, the tissues of Sa'd ibn Mu'adh in Jannah are better than this silk. Now, if you look at silk today, sometimes expensive silk is for thousands of dollars. And tissues are for what? You can get a whole box for $1, right? So he's trying to tell you the most expensive thing in the dunya is worth nothing compared to what is in the akhirah. Because what is there is eternal, and what is here is temporary. So favor what is there over what is here. But the point I take from this is the Prophet used to take advantage of certain moments that happen, things that occur around us, to solidify certain meanings in the hearts of the companions and who come after them. And similarly, the Salaf, they would follow from that. They saw a person fidgeting, and honestly, one of the things you don't want to be is don't be the one people take a lesson from. That's the person that's doing wrong. You want to be the one taking lesson from others' mistakes, so that you don't fall into them again. To summarize, today we took the second action, conducive to khushu', which is facing towards Allah, and that includes the heart facing towards Allah, devoting the heart and salah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and emptying it from matters of the dunya, and facing towards Allah with your limbs by looking only at your place of sujood. Wa jazakallahu khairan, subhanakallah wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka.